y'all. Sometimes you just got to press the button. Sometimes you just got to press the button and go live. How you doing? We're going to fix some cameras here. This is, we got Elvis. We got puppets today. We got some stuff today going on today. How are you, babies? How are you, babies? Hey, listen. Okay, that's my hair. It's my shirt. I'm Angela Shelton. Did you know that I have drums? Isn't it great? I love it so much. What's that? What? Did you know that I could play the drums with swords? I mean, are you shocked? No, you're not shocked. Yes, Queen. Hey, Elvis. Are we going to play today? So listen, update. We're a little wonky. I'm going to try to see your comments as closely as I can. Try to fix my hair. I do have 14 million glasses. So they're in various stages of dirty. And also, I literally have so many. So if you've been following me on TikTok, I sometimes wear all of them on my face because it's funny. So what we're doing now, hey. So for those of you who've known me forever, I have a big mouth. I have a big mouth about, SA, DV, all kinds of things that are happening to children. Okay. And I have a show that's happening November 5th in London. You can watch it virtually from anywhere you're at. You just go to angelashelton.com and it's all being put together. But I am going back to my most popular thing. Okay, the sword of trauma, all the stuff I talk about the sword, the reason I have a sword, the reason I actually have a legit sword, like I have a legit sword. It's in Greece right now. It's very heavy and awesome. The reason I have all these, the reason I've got this one is because I talk about the sword of trauma. And that trauma, all of our trauma is like being pierced with a sword. And I wrote this workbook literally years ago, I think 2 decades ago. What? And it has all kinds of incarnations. It's got a new one coming out at the end of the year. This is the original one. This is the coloring book version. They're the same book. All of it is the same book. It just has different... there's different pictures. This one has coloring pages, obviously, and is awesome. I love this one. And the reason I'm doing it live is because I started going viral on TikTok. I love me some TikTok. I also get banned there. Have you met me? So yesterday I was answering comments and I answered some questions and I got flagged by AI on some word. I don't know. I don't even know what it was anymore. I get banned, okay? But I also have gotten in trouble many times with perpetrators, okay? So there's that too. I'm not going to shut up, people. My promise to you is to protect the kids. So I'm always here for the kids and also for your inner children, okay? So I'm redoing the workbook. I'm going through each step. That's my gift. I was going live on TikTok. I'm also going on my YouTube and now hello, Facebook. I love you, Facebook. And I'm doing this for a reason. Here it is. You ready? We're on day 4. I'm doing it all of August in the weekdays. And I'm going to take the video and you can have it also in your course. You can have it in my app. You can get it for free. You can pay for it if you can. The whole point is for me to provide, this is my gift, the sword of trauma concept so that survivors who are victims turn into survivors and survivors turn into warriors and the warriors turn into reformers. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be in trauma and recovery your whole life, do you? Boring. I'm not interested. So I came up with this concept years ago. It was honestly like a visual gift. It was like an aha moment that came to me that all of our trauma, doesn't matter what kind of trauma you've been through, is like being pierced with a sword. So you could have witnessed violence. You could have been in violence. You could have it could have been in childhood. It could have been yesterday. It could have been the pandemic. You could have your trauma, right? Is like getting pierced with a sword. Sometimes you've got 15, right? And you can live like that. You can live like that for the rest of your life. You can be on a series of meds. You can be in anxiety and depression for the rest of your life. They agree. You can be in, stunted for the rest of your life, and you can live like that if you want. Now, the reason this concept works so well, the reason this is used all over the world, this is the reason this is my most popular thing besides my documentary, is because you can apply this to anything. You can apply it to bullying. You can apply it to your last narcissistic relationship during your swipey dating. I'm sorry about you. And so you can apply it anywhere. And then the trauma that you experienced, right, is like getting pierced with a sword. You can live like that. You need to acknowledge it. Then you remove it. Then you heal the wound. Then you have it. So there's many different stages that happen of aha moments that happen when you do that, because first of all, the most important thing is you see that conceptually and literally whatever happened to you does not define you. If you see it as a sword, you're like, oh, you can shift your energy and you can have it instead of being wounded by it. That's a process. But I just wanted to give you a little history. That's why this is so popular. And you can get it on my website. I'm updating my own website right now. Because I'm leading up into my show that I've always wanted to do for 23 years. I've wanted to do this show, and it's happening November 5th. It begins. So I'm leading up to that because in my show, I'm going through all of this in a very different way. So I'm just preparing you. Hi. And also being very fun, and like we're going back because a lot of people who've discovered me now don't know this, and you really should. And plus, those of you who do know me, I really recommend that this coloring book that was designed by my friend Amelia Horst. She's in the Reformers. I have a play camp now, once a year, maybe twice. I'm deciding, but in my play camp, for me, this to put it in your brain, I used I did this workbook as my 8-year-old self. So if you do the workbook again as your inner child, it gives you another goosey bump. See, I just got goosebumps. It gives you another layer of the sword work, because seriously, y'all, there's some problems in the world. I don't know if you're aware. And I'm going to tell you right now, there are more of us than there are of them. If you're not aware of organized perpetrators, you need to get your head on straight, because that is the truth of what's happening. That is the reality. That is the sad, real bold, honest truth. There are perpetrators who are organized, and they have infiltrated your justice system, our justice system, definitely your food, your schools and your media. So if you're not aware of that, but I'm going to tell you right now, there are more of us than there are of them. Think about your abuser. So whoever your abuser, your perpetrator, if you've come into my world, you had something happen to you. Whatever it was, that person or people, they had more than one victim than you. Am I right? They had many victims. Am I right? My own bio dad worked solo, like he was the creepy van down by the river, and he had, hey y'all, hey, I'm gonna try to see your comments and I'll circle back, but I'm like, hello, I love you. So the reason I'm doing this is because there are more of us than there are of them. Okay, so now is the time, and I'm a hard ass. I'm a drill sergeant, but I care and I love you so much, but I'm also a drill sergeant of like, get out of because there are more of us than there are of them. This has got to end, y'all. This has got to end. You got to take it out, and you got to get better, and you got to get healthy, and you got to do it fast, and you got to do it right now. And then we are all together, leveling up at the same level, and we're rising and we're elevating at the same level. It's like water, right? So again, I'm going to repeat myself, but the reason I repeat myself is that so you can get it and the new people get it. We have been pounding the toe of the beast for far too many decades, and it has not worked. And it's not working, and organized perpetrators are just getting more and more wealthy and more connected because of the internet. So I'm calling BS on the whole thing. I say, okay, there are more of us than there are of them. Okay. The problem is because of organized perpetrators, you are poisoned in your food, you're poisoned in your mind of what you're watching, and you're poisoned in your school, and you're poisoned in your justice system. Anybody who knows family court is one of the worst cesspools of organized perps I've ever seen in my life. Anybody who wants to do a horror movie, I don't do that stuff. I make other films. I make Christian movies in disguise, if you haven't figured that out. And I I know people get weird with words, but so I don't do horror movies. But if you want to do a horror movie, here it is. Lift off the roofs of every family court in this country and do a system analysis. You're welcome. You will run into a horror movie. Okay. So there's my gift to you. Take it. You can get my consulting if you want on independent movies and how to avoid more perpetrators. Anyway, so the reason I'm doing this and the reason I've committed outside, and getting past my own issues with perfectionism and timing and who has the time? I ain't got no time to do this. You know what? I'm making the time. I'm doing it every weekday in August, every morning. I'm going to go through this workbook. Today we're on page 22. Okay. And I'm going through it with you so that the people who don't have the funds to get the course, it's $97. One of them's $400. All of that stuff. I care about it because it pays my bills, but I also don't care because the people that are on the floor still need to hear this. That you are not alone. We already know that, but there are more of us than there are of them. So allow that to give you some gumption. Okay. Another great, and some drive to get the F up. Okay. So, because here's some important things I'm going to tell you. Your purpose, your life purpose, and what you're here to do in this world is more important than your pain. So picture that we're in a battlefield. Okay. So picture we're in a battlefield and it's life and we got some organized perpetrators and it's daunting. It's mortifying. It's what can we even do about it? So if we're in a battlefield, right? And all of us are wounded, some of us got more, some of us got, and we're at different stages. All of us are at different stages of our own healing, but we all have a same goal of the goal is living happily ever after. No, I mean, where we're not talking about all this stuff, but we have a problem. We have a problem in the world. Okay. And this work that I'm sharing has nothing to do with making you oh, you got to go and start a nonprofit. You got to go and hold another sign. You got to start all these other projects. No, you just have to get better. You just have to get healthier and stay healthy. That's it. And then you can do all the other stuff. But you focusing on your healing is an act of revolution. Okay. So if you're in a battlefield, right, you might be on the floor. You might be just sword. I'm stuck to the floor with my sword. I can't even move. And, somebody like myself, I've already taken my sword out. I got it on my back. I am, I'm boldly forward. I'm I might be bleeding and have some bruises, but I'm in it, y'all. And, I might have got a new one. I got a new one the other day, just slammed me right here. But I'm taking it out and healing the wound as I'm moving forward. Do you feel me? So if you see it like a battlefield, this also gives you a clue that we'll go over in this workbook of don't stop and go carry people in the back. You codependence, you keep moving forward, and you moving forward and focusing on your healing, which is an act of revolution, will inspire other people. It will. So you're not if you want to take my drill sergeant advice, you're not allowed. You're not allowed to go and pick up the one-legged bird with one eye and a broken wing. You can throw them some breadcrumbs or lay out a path of what you're doing. You don't go back, because then you're going to get killed. We have to move forward collectively and strong. And you got to be healthy. You got to get healthy. You got to stay healthy. Okay. That's what we're doing. Ready? Okay. So on my TikTok, which I love, I'm in love with TikTok. I have a great audience on there, but I get banned and suspended. Angela Shelton gets banned and in trouble. No, what? Morning. Hey. So funny. So, that's not going to stop me because, hey, y'all. So we're up to page 22, We went all through the introduction. You can see all the repeat ones on my app. It's I Love Angela Shelton. You can get it on Google or Apple. It's I Love Angela Shelton with a little logo. Okay, ready? So let's go. We're in the first step. Step 1 after our introduction is actually acknowledging the sword. So like you have to acknowledge the fact that you've been wounded and you have a sword in you. Okay? So like whatever it was, we already went through, and you can go backtrack and watch the other videos. Like we went through like what is trauma? Like you pick one. Like life is an Excel spreadsheet. Okay? So you have all these traumas you've been through, whatever, and you had repeat trauma, right? Your traumas that happened will equal that you've got addictions, you've got health problems, you've got chronic problems down there, you have mind issues, you have, you know, it's hard to cuddle, you're angry, you know, it makes sense, right? So the first step 1, it's on page 22 and on page 23, depending on which workbook you have, is just acknowledge it. Honestly, just acknowledge it. You can get these workbooks on my site. The printed ones are on Amazon. And for those of you who know the hell I've been through with the middlemen in Hollywood, there are no middlemen with my books. It's just the processing fee on Amazon. It's all me. So there you go. Thank you. And then you can also get it on my site. And so the step 1, look at me. Look, acknowledging the sword. We're not going to pull it out. We're not going to talk about it. You just acknowledge it. Look at it. Look at it. It's like, and then on the coloring book, you got a pretty color. You got a pretty picture to color. Thank you, Amelia. I recommend this one, getting the printed one. If you don't want to answer, just color. You can just color it. So if you've been pierced with a sword, like we've all been going through trauma, right? It's like an Excel spreadsheet. You will have all of these issues unless you change the equation. And changing the equation, step 1 is just acknowledging it. You're like, oh yeah. Oh God. Oh God. Yeah, I've been. So what if your trauma was like being pierced with a sword? Suddenly you see, okay, I want you to see that it has an end point, right? It has an end point. It's not going to last forever. There's 2 things that people get the most fearful of all, after all my travels and speaking to like quite literally thousands and thousands of people. 2 big fears: crying or getting mad. That's it. And we'll get there. That's when you remove it. It's a combination of crying and getting mad. I mean, it really is. Hey, how are you? So just acknowledge it, right? So what fear do you have to face to acknowledge that sort of trauma? Somebody in domestic violence has to face that they're living with it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody coming from SA has to acknowledge that it was dad, or, you know, it was pick one. Like, what is your trauma that you have been stunted with, right? Or it was your like how Angela Shelton tries not to get banned and canceled when she talks about the words that we need to talk about in order to address the words that we need to talk about. You know what I'm saying? I mean, God dang. So what fears do you have to face? Just acknowledge it and think about it. And with this, okay, this is the big one. This is the big question. What secrets are you keeping? Oh, hell. She brought that up. This is connected to secrets. Did you hear what I'm saying? So what secrets are you keeping? Hey, right? So like, what secrets are you keeping to keep this in place? That's self-mutilators. That's self-abusers. That's still in domestic violence. That's still beating the hell out of yourself. That's the alcoholic Angela Shelton from my movie who drinks a case of beer a night and keeps it a secret. These are all secrets, right? Secrets. She went to rehab, by the way. She's awesome. And how have you personally been pierced with the sword? And again, many of you, God bless you, could be like, 1. I got 15. You know, I love it. Like, I'm all into survivor humor because so many of us have been through so many things that when people say like, oh my God, you went through that. And you're like, that was just Tuesday. That was Tuesday. You want the list of things? So I get it. You can have a whole list of things, but let's combine them all into one sword, right? For now. She went to rehab. Oh, I gotcha. I didn't know. Yeah, the alcoholic Angela Shelton went into rehab. That's in my book. That's also in my movie. At the end, she goes into rehab, and that's a really great story and great happy ending. Imagine happy ending. So this stage, it is when you just acknowledge it. What are you afraid of? What are you fearful of? Fearful. And this work requires that you be totally radically honest. And because ain't nobody else seeing this. You should do this yourself. You should fill out the pages on your set. The reason you want it printed is because when you write out in your hand, when you write it out, I am fearful of you, and even try sometimes to do it in your non-dominant hand, your subconscious will also come forward and say, like, oh, actually, I'm fearful of being abandoned, and I'm fearful of poverty. And you're like, oh, I thought I was fearful of mean men. No, so you need to be radically honest with yourself about, oh yeah, no, that wasn't me. You need to be radically honest with yourself about what you're afraid of, because we'll get into this. This goes further into the workbook of why we're attached to this, right? Why we're like, wait, what? And we can talk about victim addicts, but you're like, I don't want to take it out. I like it. I'm holding on to it. It gives me a story, right? Writing with your hand is extremely powerful. It really is. So that's why I recommend that you get the printed one. I understand they're also expensive. One's $27. This is, because of the color, is 30 something. If that's too high for you, and I totally get it, just get the printed one and print it on your printer, or use somebody else's printer. Go to Kinko's, whatever. So that you write it out, or just look at it online, and write it out. You are fearful of what? Write a stream of consciousness, because many times what you're fearful of is not what you think you're fearful of, right? So, like my own personal journey is poverty. And so I was raised very poor. I was like that, like some of my core, like my own personal, like biggest things in my life were not my dad abuse. It was poverty. It was, I always wanted to go to New York City. I'm just going to tell you these so that it maybe will give you something. You're like, oh yeah. When we were, I was living in South Carolina, my mom's whatever husband, and I got a chance to go to New York City with the school, and there was just no way we could afford it. It was like $287. I believe. I'm funny that I remember that. And there was just no way that we had $287. So I collected cans to raise the money for myself, and I collected cans in front of the rich girls' houses. So that to me was like, as far as wound, that was, I got to tell you, that was actually bigger wound for me personally than my dad. I know that sounds, but that's when you start really writing out and really being radically honest with yourself. What are you fearful of? That was like a big thing for me, was poverty. And, and then it goes into the next one is, I feel like I can't. I feel like I can't what? When you think about that, when you feel like you can't what? I felt like I couldn't breathe. Like, I feel like I can't breathe when I think about that. I feel like this whole area just goes into shutdown, and I'm like, oh, right? So this is just the stage where you just acknowledge it. You're like, what am I afraid of? And how does it make me feel? Right? I'm healing. I read hate letters. I've used hate letters, writing every horrific thought you ever had. Yes. Say it to them, sleep and save it. And I used to burn them. Yeah, that's a great technique. It's fabulous. Thank you for sharing that. And I have been stuck and stunted by the sword. When I filled it out with my little kid, I did it as my little kid. I am fearful of poverty. I feel like I can't breathe, and I have been stuck and stunted by poverty. Isn't that funny? Like, you would think, if you're looking at somebody else's Excel spreadsheet of their life, you see my life and you think I'm like scared of like perpetrator men like my dad. No, it was actually poverty. And just, being the kid that everything was, we lived in the thrift stores with my mom, and then just no money. It was, and made fun of, and then, that was a huge thing for me. So, hey, kitty, what's up? Picking up cans in front of the rich girls' houses. Yeah, it's social humiliation too. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I did live like the pretty in pink, like pretty in pink. That's me. Like, the fancy rich guy, the rich guy at school that likes the poor girl. I ended up marrying him, by the way. That's funny. And having a baby. We're divorced now, but that's a funny little circle back is to the pretty in pink world. Yeah. It's like it was intense, which is difficult. Yeah. The social humiliation, the tied in with the trauma I already had from being the product of my own father. What the hey. So this is the step, and this is why this is important that you're really, really radically honest with yourself. This is why writing it down helps so much. Is what are you really fearful of? Where do you feel stunted? And also you can go further and look at what you're doing as your behaviors and what you're putting in your mouth and your mind to keep that stunt there. What'd you say? I said to be radically honest is what I said. That's what I said. Okay. And so when you really look at that, you're like, oh, just look at it. Just look at your behaviors of like, how have you been pierced with this? What are you really afraid of? How does it make you feel? And where are you stuck and stunted? Like I work with a lot of men. I help men get off of the corn addiction and the corn cob. And many of them are afraid of their moms, afraid of abandonment. They feel less than and unworthy and unwanted. And then they get stuck in the process of just corn addiction. Put a P there. Figure it out. Come on, people. She gets banned. And also with the self-mutilator, self-abuser, you're afraid of actual connection. You're afraid to feel anything so that you make yourself feel something. You smack yourself, cut yourself, beat yourself up so that you feel something. And there is some kind of satisfaction in that. Am I right? And I'm like, oh God, she said that out loud. No, there's a reason you're doing it because there's like a satisfaction there. And I was one of them. I was a smacker, and there was a you deserve it layer. Okay. It's like, so I just really want you to just look at it. You don't have to go down the path of we're going to actually write your whole book right now, but I just want you to look at it and be radically honest, because I'm going to be radically honest with you about all my stuff. Like I was a self-abuser, self-hater. I had a whole history of angry men, and I married a few of them. and I lived in denial for years after my child trauma. Yep. And finally let it go. Great project to start a list. Yes, I have a list of fears, but always try to be strong. Yeah, you have a list of fears. Well, we'll get into you taking that list of fears and switching it around. I've got a lot of things you can do with that. It's very fun. Very, very fun. Also, by the way, side note, just so you know, that it's the same book. It's the same book. It just has different pictures and stuff. I am a writer. I write screenplays and books. I've written many books and screenplays, yada, yada. I wrote this whole process in this book intentionally with the hero's journey, the typical template you use for the hero's journey, so that when you write out all this stuff, you will have the first draft of your book. You're welcome. So you can just take that first draft. You can even speak it and I'll share ways you can do that in the Reformers. We have a book writing group, and I share little tips, you can actually do these voice recordings and then it'll be typed already for you. And you can answer all this with voice recording, even though I really recommend that you write it down. I think you write it down and do a voice recording, and you will have the first draft of your book. You're welcome. This is here to help, y'all, here to help. Now, What the next question in here is, what if everything you did affected everything else? Because it does. Everything you do affects everything else. Did you hear what I just said? Everything you do affects everything else, including doing nothing. Would you say? Everything you do, everything you're doing with your negative thought patterns is affecting everything else in your life. Everything you're doing with your behavior, what you're eating, what you're seeing, and what you're thinking is affecting everything in your life. Your attitude, this, walking around like this, stunted and in fear and in anger and anxiety and panic all day is affecting everyone around you. Oops. Yes, you are that powerful. Yeah. What? Yes, you are that powerful. Hey, y'all. Yeah, you've been there. So it's like, oh, so everything you do affects everything else. Just try one thing. If you walk out in the day, one day and you're like, I hate this world. I hate it all. I hate this world. Watch how your day is, because then that's the day that you trip. That's the day that you lock your car keys in the car. That's the day that you have a whatever argument with whomever. Versus if you walk out with my TED Talk was I love you squish. Like, if you really realize that all of us are going through this, all of us have these. And if you come out in the world as your full true purpose and not your pain, you will see a dramatic shift in your day. You just will. And just that energy affects everything around you. Just watch that. It really does. Good morning. Hey. Everything you do affects everything else. Yep, including doing nothing. It's seriously true. And if you look at this and where we are in the world right now, as if we're in a battlefield, okay? So just see it like a battlefield, and you're at different levels. You might be way ahead of somebody else, or you might be still like stuck to a tree. You're like, oh God, I need help to get out of this. Oh my God. But you can watch people that are further ahead than you to give you the gumption and the drive and the stamina to all right, listen. Oh my God, I gotta pull this out, heal the wound. Right now, we gotta heal the wound as we're going. Okay, like you healing the wound. There's so many healing techniques out there. That's why I'm doing my show. I'm doing my show intentionally to provide quantum healing, so that when you watch the show, you'll have healings. My intention is that this is what I want for my show. This is what I'm working on. This is why I'm doing it. Is because I want literally. This is what Helen. I went to see Angela Shelton's show, and it was crazy. She's crazy, but I never had another panic attack after that. And then you know what, Pearl? I had the same experience. I never had another panic attack or an anxiety attack after I watched that show. Huh? I'm like, yeah, I know, that's intentional. And so I'm sharing ways so that you can go catapult forward, so that you can blast information and healing, that you're not going to sit for the next 25 years on a sofa talking about it, because you can do that if you want, but honey, we ain't got much time. Okay, so this is a matter of like making a whole shift in the world. Okay, and when we make a shift in the world, we do actually elevate and expand all of us. Because I'll circle back to the beginning when I said, we're in a real problem here, and there are more of us than there are of them. The problem is we've been sick, and we've been poisoned and stunted and silenced and muzzled and banned and canceled and suspended from, why are you talking to yourself? Yeah, from the system of perpetrators. I mean, that is what's happening, Okay, so as we get better and we move to the next level and we help each other, this is why I'm doing this, and we will create a different shift. Because for too many years, decades actually, and Jackie, you know this feeling, we have been pounding the toe of the beast. Okay, so like if you think of like organized perpetrators, it's like a beast. Okay, it's a very, very, very big beast, and you can hold your sign, and you can write your letters and start your little nonprofit and do your work, and it will deplete the hell out of you. It's pounding the toe of the beast. Am I right? And you're tired. You're tired because we have been, yeah, we have been collectively pounding the toe of the beast, right? And you should have talked to anybody. My friend Rita Smith, who was the head of the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, like she's like, yeah, it's really well put, actually. And we need to shift how we're doing this. And when we collectively rise and elevate, you could drown it. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So instead of this, pounding the toe of the beast, a big, big, scary, scary beast, there's more of us than there are of them. As we collectively rise and elevate our own healing, we, from a different level, you see what I'm saying? So it's our systems and institutions. Yeah, I mean, the level of corruption is just so bad that it's like daunting to even think about and talk about. But I will tell you right now, when you start really dissecting any of them, it's not a conspiracy theory. It is a system analysis. You will run into organized perpetrators. You will run into the worst things imaginable. You will run into people helping other people. Okay? And so that's true. And I don't want to focus on that personally. It's just like I don't watch horror movies. I don't want that in my mind, because that reality will make me personally want to go lay in traffic because it's too daunting. So it's too daunting because we've been pounding the toe of the beast. That's why it's daunting. When you just shift your mind and you're like, actually, okay, big giant scary beast over here, y'all. Big giant scary beast over here. It's in everything. It's even in your food. I'm gonna cry. I don't know if I can deal with it. Don't deal with it. Don't deal with it right now. Just get better. Just don't look at this. Just literally just focus on your own healing and get better, as if you're on a battlefield. Okay, so like there's a battle going on. You're not necessarily in it because you're wounded and you're in the ground, and like, but there's people ahead of you that are got their groove going on in the fight. Just watch them, stay focused on the light, and keep getting better and more healthy in your own life. This is why I'm a broken record with my friend Sean, who is the one in Nashville.com. He looks like Jesus. I personally love Jesus. You can judge me all you want, but he looks like my version of Jesus. So I love saying that. He was my personal missing link for my health and my body, because I need the stamina to do my own show. If you've noticed, my voice has changed. I look different. My skin is amazing. I've looked great and I feel great at 50. That is because I've done this healing work. That is because I've removed this. That is because I've done the work, and now I'm doing the work on my body, and it's showing. And it's like, and I'm not, I got a lot more to do. I'm gonna start doing gospel dances to yoga. Just wait. I mean, I've only just begun. I'm gonna lean in here. Hey, speaking out loud to myself. I speak out loud to myself all the time, girl. Let me turn this. I felt crazy, but I did rewrite my inner voice. Yes, that's 100% what you have to do. Yes, pounding the toe of the beast is a perfect analogy. It is. I'm full of analogies because I'm a writer and because I'm a creative, and so I could put it in your brain. The sword is one. Hello, and it's easier to look at your trauma as a sword. Otherwise, if we look at the trauma as the reality of the trauma that we've been through, we would all we'd all go lay in traffic right now and just be like, you know what? It's just crazy. I'm not even going to deal with it. I can't do, so it's like, just look at it differently now, because everything you do affects everything else, including your healing, especially your healing. Like, so when you start working on your own healing, you will shift your whole life. It really is. We attach so deeply to it. Yes, it's like you attach so deeply to your traumas, and I'm gonna call you out a little bit. Like I said, I did warn you. I'm gonna be a little bit of a drill sergeant with this stuff, because how dare you? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you stay stunted because of what some jackass did to you, or plural, because some of y'all have many plurals. How dare you do that? Do not let them win. That's not allowed. because by you staying stunted in your panic, in your anxiety, in your chronic health problems, in your chronic anxiety problems, in your money that you're paying, talking to some person, talk about like repeat, like you're just repeating yourself. You're just repeating. I mean, I hear people talk all the time. You're just like, oh my God, you're literally like talking it into existence over and over and over. Like, enough already. It's time for you to shift yourself and like actually do it. It's easier done than said. This whole bullshit about it's easier said than done. It's not. It's easier done than said, because you can sit and talk about it all day long while everybody else is doing it. So you need to do it. And so that's why I'm a drill sergeant with total love. Like I understand the pain that it comes from. It's a vicious cycle. Yeah. So it's like, I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to kick your ass with love because I'm doing it. I got a sword in me still, y'all. I'm like, you know what I mean? I am a warrior. I'm fighting. I'm getting my body on, and still, you know, you trip, you fall. The other day, I literally fell down a waterfall, saving my child. I got literally. I mean, look, you want to talk about some truth? Look, I got it. You want to see that? Yep, that's it. That's just one of many. I fell down a waterfall. So we're still in it. You know what I mean? Talk to yourself. Look at, oh, thank you. Thank you. When you see the sword and you realize that you're wounded, you can also see how you're affecting yourself and the world around you. So I just want you to really pay attention to what the hell you're doing with your time and what you're putting into your mouth and your eyes. Am I right? Hey, y'all. Hey. So like, what are you doing with your time, and how are you affecting everyone around you, including yourself? Hello, duh, you're the most important one. My book is on its way. Nice. Woohoo. So just like your emotions, okay? Your emotions affect everybody around you. Y'all anxious attachers. I'm that way with one person. I totally get it. Like when you're the anxious attacher, you're like, oh, wait, but you've triggered all my emotions and I think that you hate me. And so I'm going to send you 14 million text messages. Yeah, that is like, and I work with a lot of men. So I see a lot of crazy, and it's not crazy. It's poisoned. My friend Sean, who I call Jesus, told me that. And I really took that to heart. He said, don't say people are crazy, especially women. Don't say women are crazy. Say they're poisoned, because you're poisoned with your trauma. You're poisoned with all the meds that you're on, for God's sakes, and what you're eating. Like you're literally being poisoned. So when you look at how you are affecting everyone around you with your emotions and your anger, that you're not really addressing, but your deep-suited rage. You got any of those passive-aggressive people in your life? And they're affecting everything around you because of the core trauma that you haven't dealt with. I mean, that's it. And then your fears affect everybody too. So your fears affect others when you are quick to anger, quick to sadness. You're not really present because you're still in your fight or flight or survival mode and anger, and you know. It's like you get all these projections. Like I do this on TikTok because it's funny, but it's so true that like when you have all of this, like you got, oh wait, I got my projection of my uncle. I got my projection of when I got this happen. I got my you know, you're not even really with somebody. You've got all of, you've got all your projections down. Like you're looking at other people through the lens of whatever happened to you. I mean, we do that. That happens. So I want to just give you the step one is just acknowledge it before we start getting into sword play. Because I have legit sword play. I have like warrior lessons. I'll teach you how to actually wield a sword. We will get there. And but right now, just look at today. Just look at how you have affected your own life. How this trauma has affected your own life, and how your energy and your reactions because of this has affected everybody around you. And it's time to be totally radically honest. Get off of your baloney caca repeat story complaining about somebody else or whatever happened to you or whatever you're in, and turn it on yourself, because the clue is with you and what you're doing. That's a repeat. And I will also be radically honest so that you can see something in my story. You're like, oh yeah. Number one huge was angry men. I married a couple. I was attracted to them. I had boyfriends that were, I mean, usually, thank God, thank you. I was never in actual, well, I was in soft domestic violence where you get yelled at all the time. You ever been in one of those where you're yelled at violently, like repeatedly? Oh my God, it's horrible. But, you know, I wasn't in the physical abuse, but I was in anger, like rageaholics. They'll punch holes in walls, turn tables over. It was my dad. You know, you're in a relationship with your dad. You know, you feel me? And it took me a while, but it was while I was doing this work originally that I was like, oh my God, I'm so angry. I'm so angry that my fear of taking this out and like addressing my core stuff is not the crying. I can cry all day long. It's the rage. And I was like, I felt that if I touched my personal anger, I would be a Tasmanian devil and just spinning around. And I'm like, I'm never going to come out of that. I mean, I might be in an orange outfit. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until I realized that I'm like, you can process anger in healthy ways, that I realized I was attracted to all these angry men because I was angry. And there was a part of me that liked it. I kind of liked it because I liked what they did. I liked watching blow-ups. I wished that I could do it. They were acting out what I wish I could do. And that took some major, radical, lay it on the table honesty. You see me? You feel me? Where you're like, you know, you got to be honest about your addictions. You got to be honest about what you're doing with your time, right? And I laid it out. I was like, oh my God, I'm so attracted to angry men because I'm angry. Holy shit. Oops. Bleep. Anger is exciting drama. Yeah, seriously. So it's like, wow, you feel me? Does that resonate? Do you feel like you're like, oh yeah? And it could be this, if you could switch it around, you might be attracted to like really like emotionally draining people because you are. So you might be attracted to like the passive aggressives because you are. Like, so it's wild. It's wild to look at and have total radical honesty. It hurts. It's not pretty. But you know what? When you do that and you actually reveal it and peel back the layers, it is so empowering. And then you get naked. You get to where you're like, oh, removing all this stuff. And you're just like legit, like just naked. And I've had those experiences too, like the whole, like I had my full, you know, Kundalini awakening, come to Jesus. And it was like me, you know, and I had just realizations after realizations, and that I'm sharing so that hopefully my intention is that you'll find some nugget and be like, I'm going to take that nugget. I'm going to take that nugget and I'm going to apply it to my life. Just like this workbook, apply where it works with you and where the sword. This is a powerful analogy because this is what we need to do. We'll get there. Don't freak out. Listen, yeah, you know, I did the perps. What? Deed away. I didn't see that I kept repeating and finding new perps in different ways. Yes, you'll find them because we tried to like fix it with a new person. And eventually, what I have come to realize in my own life at my next levels of healing, and I am by no way, shape, or form like perfect or there. I've just been through a lot of it. And you can see in my body, in my work, in my body of work, that I'm leveling up. And I'm gonna always be super radically honest with the little guys, with y'all. That I'm just gonna do that because people tend to keep stuff like away, like or like behind some paywall. And you know, like, I'll tell you that for $5,000. We are in need right now of dramatic shifts and healing. So it's a service work for me. And that's why I do this, to share everything I know as I'm going. Granted, there's some I don't know, y'all. I don't know what's around that corner, and I don't know how to fix that one obstacle on my own. But in relationships with yourself and your self-abuse and your intimate relationships, I'm pretty good. And from where I reached and I'm where I'm at right now is with a mirror. So a full mirror for your everything you are fully, like your playful side, your anger side, your big picture side, your little wounded kid side is a total mirror. And it's like, whoa, then what are you going to do? So thank you, Angela, for allowing us to share our experiences in healing. Yes, absolutely. You are so welcome. Well, you say people don't appreciate honesty. That's because it always brings up stuff for them. Like, what'd you say? What did you say for that? Yeah, people are talking to themselves. That is a clue. Whenever you run up against, like, especially when you start healing and actually going to the next level, and you stop the addictions, you change your behavior, you start looking better. People in your life that are still stunted in trauma do not like it. And they will tell you some stuff. And just remember, they're talking to themselves. They're talking to themselves. Why? I mean, I've legit been yelled at that I'm a piece of crap, that I'm worth nothing, that all my work means nothing, that all I'm doing is useless, that I will never be anywhere in life. I'll just be the poor little girl that I grew up as. Do you think that's true? I mean, that person is talking about themselves, wouldn't you say? I was like, wow. So it really is like a fascinating, brilliant moment when you realize that everybody's talking to themselves, including you. What'd you say? Hey, let's dance. Can we please dance, y'all? Like, I'm like, for God's sakes. And that's been my own process we're going to get into tomorrow. I'm going to get into your fun childhood memories and what you do for fun. And for me, it's dance. And have I ever done that? Do I have that on my schedule? I'm just now learning to do that. I'm using y'all as my, like, especially TikTok and the inspiration I've received from the audience that's like, yay. And audiences in person. I've been in front of thousands of people, 500 people, 200 people. I've had huge audiences. And that to me gives me the reflection of like, girl, you're doing a good job. Like you should dance. You should do more crazy stuff. We love it. And so I appreciate you saying like, yay, go, because that helps me honestly, it helps me address my own fears. Like I had a total fear of going live. I don't like live. Live to me seems like you're in a dark house and the lights, or you're in a house with the lights on and it's dark outside and everybody can see you in and you can't see out. Like I that's how lives like first felt with me. Like I'm like, what'd you say? Like I'll go on a stage in front of 10,000 people. You can hand me in the mic and I'll just have the time of my life. But you hand me a live and it scares the living poo-poo out of me. Like I take a little dookie. Every single time I press the go live button, me personally, it makes me take a little poop. And so it's just so, so we're all helping each other and being mirrors for each other. Right? You're in a fishbowl. It really does feel like that. You're like, and plus you can also have people tell you like, you shouldn't go live because people will, there's perps out there. It's like, yeah, well, there's perps everywhere. And I'm going to tell you again, I'm going to repeat myself. There are more of us than there are of them. There are more of us than there are of them. And when you're like, wait, so that you matter so much because in your life, you changing and you healing, and it is an active revolution. It really is. And I'm going to call you out and say like, well, how dare you? How dare you stop? How dare you not go to the next level? One reason, I love Rachel so much. I don't know if she's in here. Rachel is a perfect example. She has every disease you've ever heard of. Like and things you've never heard of. She's got it. And she's got a degree. So she got a degree in disease, right? And so she's in bed in pain, but that girl will not stop Irish dancing. Like that to me is like, God, I love you. And like, you might have every disease in the book, but man, you're not going to miss that Irish dancing class. I absolutely, I'm just like, yay. Like her doing that inspires me to keep doing the big stuff. Does that make sense? Like, it's like we're mirrors for each other. Like, instead of staying in the stunted side of like, oh God, do you have another disease that we can't pronounce, that we don't know what it is? Let's start a nonprofit and let's start holding signs about that disease. No, dance your ass off and heal that disease with your mind, and stop being poisoned with what you're putting in your mind and in your mind and your mouth. You're welcome. The end. It's all so simple, isn't it? Keep repeating. Yeah, it is. It's like, it's the repeating. So I will repeat some core things. There are more of us than there are of them. Everything you do affects everything else. It's easier done than said. Just do it. Like, it's either easier done than said. You can talk for 25 years about quitting your job or leaving that abusive relationship or stopping whatever addiction you have. Just pick one. You can talk about it all day long. Or you can today just do it. Yes, queen. Like, I could talk for years about, oh, I should do what all those other people are doing. I should go live on my TikTok, or I should go live on I should start a TikTok. I should do that. You can talk about it all day long and take every course known to man and take every, same, I'm talking to myself. Or you could just do it. You could do it or talk about it. It's easier done than said. Yeah. And your trauma is like a sword. So whatever happened to you, and God bless you, I know, because many of you have a long ass list of things that have happened to you. It's like being pierced with a sword, and you can live like that for the rest of your life if you want. You're going to have all the things that comes with this: health problems, mental problems, spiritual problems, hard to breathe, hard to cuddle. You ain't going to be cuddling much. And or you could remove it, heal the wound, and then you have it. Ha ha! And the scary part of that is facing whatever put it there. Sometimes I'm going to err on the side of, actually, I don't believe that anymore now that I've known like more quantum healing stuff. Sometimes it hurts worse coming out than it did going in. But I'm going to lay that on the table also with the caveat, maybe not. So when we actually address it, it's crying or anger. That's it. And then you heal the wound, and then you have it. I mean, it's like, oh, here's the question. Are you ready to have it? Are you able to step up and actually have it? Because because many times you're more afraid of your life purpose than you are your pain. And here's another one I'll lay out for you. Your purpose in life that you're here to do is more important than your pain. So that's why I'm going to be a drill sergeant. I don't care. I don't care about your, oh God, you're so upset about your dad. You're so upset about your narcissist ex. You're so upset. I don't care. Ain't got time. We ain't got time. That's great. I'll write about it. Write a letter and burn it, because that pain is keeping you away from your true purpose. And your true purpose, talking to myself too, y'all, your true purpose is more important than your pain. Me, look at how, I'm not even joking when I say this. I'm dead serious. Across all the platforms that we're now on, we're on all these platforms. We're on every, there's trends just started, for God's sakes. I get a message every single fucking day. Damn it. Every single day from somebody who did not kill themselves, because they're like, oh my God, I found your documentary. Oh my God, I saw your documentary in my school. I saw your workbook in my support class, and it triggered in something in me, and I didn't kill myself. I'm like, that to me is like super victory. Like, and they always come in. I always get messages on the moment that me personally, I'll have like, I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna go lay in traffic. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about all this stuff. I'm gonna do it by myself. I will get a message, and I'm not joking. I get one every single day. So when I personally am feeling like, who cares? Nobody cares. Hey, guess what? You're not doing this work for the people who don't care. You're not doing the work for the trolls and the family that's going to stay in generational trauma for the rest of the freaking life. You're doing it for the people that are on the battlefield who are at different layers than you. And you know what? There might be somebody that's ahead of you that trips and falls and gets stunted again, and you're going to help them. Just like Rachel. Rachel helps me. Rachel helps me with inspiring me because she's got every disease known to man, and she's going to make it to her dance class. And I'm like, and she like surpasses me on the battlefield. And I'm like, oh, man, oh, my, oh. And I'm like, okay, I just fell down a waterfall, but let me, and I'm okay. I'm okay. Bleeding, but I'm okay. And so I say that to remind you that who cares about the haters? Who cares? Like, I get them too. And remember, they're always talking about themselves. Hi. So, okay, God has a true purpose for us all, and your mate will help you fulfill your purpose in life. Okay, Jerome. He's like, it is. It's my mate. Your mate is yourself, and you will help you fulfill your purpose in life. And yeah, if you want to have that conversation, like your romantic partners and your mates, they're mirrors for you. Like, and so if you're helping them and they help you, and sometimes it's like, for me personally, like my biggest love in my life, honestly, and I'm just being revealing because I'm going to be super revealing. The biggest, greatest love I've ever had in my life truly doesn't do anything except just be himself. And he's doing his own thing. He's on his own thing. It's what he does in his life that inspires me. And even reacting with me, like, and this is like, I don't tell my private life, but I'll tell this particular thing, that it's not, he's going to complete me. He's going to like find me. He's going to pay. Like, it's a lot of things. I made a TikTok about that. Like, everybody's like, what's he pay? Is he paying your bills? Is he paying your rent? No, the biggest love of my life presented a place for me to fully see myself. And he was a witness for me seeing my own self. Does that make sense? And so he doesn't really matter in the equation. And I mean that fully with as much love and respect, that, because like, here's the thing, we came in alone, we're going out alone with God. And so like, you can have the biggest love of your life. You can meet the biggest love of your life and they're going to die, or one of you is going to die. I had the biggest love of my life die. And it's like, do you quit? Do you quit and like give up everything and say like, well, I'm done now, I'll never have love again? No, in fact, I believe they help you. So when you're open to it, so that's a whole other conversation we'll get into, but, so you feel me? You're building good men and saving life. Yeah. That's also why I help good men, and bad men. Like, I say, I have a joke, like, I'm like healing for the whole family, the kids, the adults, and the creepy uncle. Because just full disclosure in me, and I got to go soon. Because this goes back to trauma, like a ginormous love in my life. I like love of my life, total mirror for me, awesome love of my life, was impotent. And I was very young, and I was in my 20s, the dumb, stunted, poisoned 20s that you go through. And I took it personally because of my own issues with my own childhood abuse. So I felt if there was not want sexually, then you hate me. So it's like, that's a whole brain pathways. And he was impotent. And so I broke up with him. And he, not because of that, but he later passed away. And I missed that opportunity to have a huge love in my life because of impotence. Well, guess what? He was impotent because his sister was being sexually abused, and RAPED, by his dad. His sister killed herself. Then his dad killed himself. Then his brother killed himself. Do you feel what's happening in that family? Can you get an idea of what's going on? And then he did not, by his own hands, kill himself. Well, he did. He did that leaving Las Vegas way. Like he literally did that. He did Leaving Las Vegas, where he just actually drank himself to death. And he was impotent. Of course he's impotent, because, I mean, hello? Like, look, like, so you're afraid of your own parts because that's what your dad used to rape your sister, and that's what killed your sister. That's what killed your dad and your brother. So of course you have, like, it makes it life is an Excel spreadsheet, right? Truth. And so I am like, well, because of trauma, because of my own trauma, I was unable to help him or to have compassion for it, to be honest. I took it personally and was mad. And he was brokenhearted because he broken. Now, I've worked with couples over this and given them advice on how to get this back up. And it's usually always trauma. It's usually always trauma. The guy went through something horrible, or witnessed, in this case, witnessed something horrible, or they got horribly cheated on, or are bamboozled by one of these poison women. And that's this. And it's like, and then as soon as you heal that, suddenly everything is just happy. And it's amazing, like, not meds, not a whole, system of all kinds of protocol of freaking pharma, your brain, your mindset. Yeah. And so that is, full disclosure, why I work with men and why I take those calls and why I have an F word, and why I went that route, because of that. So I am, just full disclosure, I'll be radically honest with you so that you can be radically honest with yourself. How about that? Nods at all. Yeah. When we're in our 20s and we have a lot of hateful judgment thoughts based on our own previous trauma. Yeah. And in their 20s, this is why it's like, I feel like we really need to reach 20-year-old women, or women in their 20s, because they're, for some reason, they're extra poison. They're like more poison than the men I'm seeing. And it's like, dang, good luck talking to them, because they, I'm not even Catholic, y'all, but I'm like, bless you, sweet souls. Let's like do traumatic healing too. So I've been helping the men so that they can help the women. How about that? So thank you for your honesty. You're so welcome. I'm just like, I'm going to be honest, because that's going to be what I do. I have always been honest. I'm also a double Sagittarius. I'm blunt, and I can actually hurt feelings sometimes when I'm like a drill sergeant, and I will pre-apologize for that. And, if you get offended, hug yourself or something. I don't know. Don't take a pill. I'm very anti-pharma, but, get over yourself and know that you're talking to yourself. And I'm here for love. I'm here to protect the kids, which includes your inner child. So if your inner child, or when your inner child is protected and loved, and we take this out and we're like this, then we're all on a battlefield together. And we are rising collectively, and we're rising together. And then we address the beast in very different ways. Let's just say that. And scene. Don't hurt my feelings. Well, that's on you, Jerome. Don't hurt my feelings. Like, I'm all into like just honesty, and I appreciate you being here and appreciate you sharing, and we need to reach out to the young females. Yeah. And you had so much rage. Yeah. From 10 to 35, girl, I hear that. And like, where does the rage come up? This goes back to doing the workbook pages. Like, I just took you through a video. I'll post it on this course, and I'll post it on my app. And the key is just for like, I'm telling you some crazy, honestly, like, I'm laying out my own life on the honesty table, so that you will find aha moments. And you're like, oh yeah, I am really mad. Like, and just do the pages, do the freaking pages, do the work, do it. Don't talk about it. It's easier done than said. And it's on my site for free. That actually, there's $9, there's $32. There's, I'm also in my own world organizing it all to where it's just like super streamlined and organized. It's not my forte. Yeah, I'm the creative volcano, if you haven't noticed. I'll leave you with this. Yay! What are we doing now? I'm probably dancing to gospel music. I'm doing yoga, but not now, because I got to go shopping with my kid for school. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. How are you? And There's many reasons. There's many reasons to why I do what I do, including Jesus. Like I love me some Jesus, and also Sean, who looks like Jesus. The one in Nashville was my personal missing link I needed for health. And when you go join his network, which is free, mine isn't free, his is free. The one in Nashville, you can ask him all your health questions. And even one of our friends, who's a reformer, had consistent. Here's another thing. It goes back to trauma. You'll have consistent body issues. She had a consistent skin issue her whole life, like really, really bad. He gave her the advice on one oil that's just one ingredient of some like sea berry thing, and it literally went away almost overnight. And you're just like, yay! So like, let's level up on all levels, and let's like go to the next level healing so that we can be in a battlefield for real. We're not going to talk about that part yet. We'll get there. And I worked out resentment. Yeah, you worked out. Yes, I love it. I'm so proud of you. School supplies. Yeah, exactly. I appreciate you sharing your time and your thoughts. Mwah! I love you. I hope that helped. Please share it. Please comment like what helped. Like please comment and share, and like what was it that resonated the most? What you like about the workbook the most? There's another one coming out at the end of the year. And yeah, and this all leads up to my crazy ass show, because in my show, November 5th, you can get a ticket. It's a virtual ticket. It's $27, and I use that money to pay for the cameras. So it's going to be a 2 or 3 camera setup, and I'm taking you through a wild journey. The education, the miseducation, and the re-education. It's yeah, we'll get there. What'd you say? You're gonna do what? All right, y'all. I'll see you. I love you, and I'll be back on TikTok on the 10th. Apparently, heard her big mouth. I tell you, I'm in fire. And it's $12 to read the workbook. Is it $12? That's a good question on my app. It's not subscription. It's one time, by the way. My app is one time. And that's good question. Good question. I have it under the whatchamacallit, the educational package on the app, and I think it's $47. But if you're in the reformers, I'm putting everything in the reformers. Like if you're in the reformers, you get everything pretty much. Like, so just go there. And I'm putting it for ease. That's so funny. How is it easy, Angie? It's so, where is it? I am constantly like working with like the easiest places to put it. That's why I got an app, because I keep getting canceled everywhere. That's the reason that I have the app, so that when you have the app, that's my connection. It's run by me. I am the only one who has access to it, which also means you're like, where's that link? I'm like, listen. And also the reformers, that's also my organization. That's and I'm getting help for the back end, because so many people are doing their own courses and practicing, which is also, I provide a place for you to practice your own courses, and then you can make money at it. So I just now got finally help where I can not have to touch that myself, so that when you sell your courses, I don't have to personally like go and like look at the PayPal and then send it to you. Like I'm going to have other people do that to help me. So that's incredible. So, hey, it's baby steps, y'all. It's baby steps and giant leaps forward. And a great analogy for me personally is that battlefield, because sometimes a boulder comes out of nowhere and you're like, why did that knock me to the ground? Why? Whoa, try. So I get it. You said it was there yesterday, I think. Yes, it is. It's on my app. It's on Reformers. And it's also just on my page on angelashelton.com. I have it right on the front, at the bottom. You can click on anyone you want. And I'm even changing that. And because I found a way to just have it so simple. It's just like a little checkout page. You don't even have to go to all these other sites. So I'm doing that hopefully this weekend, but definitely by Monday, because I have learned my own schedule to like shut off my my comments and shut off my time on social so that I actually am present with the people that I love. Cut to my mom. My mom's like, what about me? What about me? Hey, y'all. Hey. We're working on it. We're working on it. Hey, work in progress over here. I got to spend some time with Elvis. Get you later. All right, y'all. I love you. Thank you. Bye.